Hello. So today we're going to have a read aloud about winter solstice, the shortest day of the year. The Shortest Day, Celebrating the Winter Solstice by Wendy Pfeffer, illustrated by Jesse Reich. Reich. In late autumn, in the northern part of the world, squirrels hide nuts, foxes grow thick fur coats, and flocks of birds fly to warmer places. The sun rises later each morning and sets earlier each evening. Each day it appears lower in the southern sky. As the sun gets lower and lower, the north gets less and less daylight. The air grows colder. Chickadees fluff their feathers to keep warm. Woodchucks hibernate in their burrows. And white-tailed deer nuzzle through the snow to find the last blades of grass. On short winter days, children bundle in warm clothes and walk through a frosty white world, dragging long shadows behind them. On long winter nights, families eat dinner while it's dark outside. Children wonder when the days will get long again so they can play outside after dinner, like they did in the summer. In the north, on or around December 21st, the sun reaches its lowest point on the horizon, making that day the shortest day of the year. Like all days, December 21st has 24 hours, but it's called the shortest day because it has the fewest hours of daylight. The shortest day, called the winter solstice, is the beginning of winter. And in some places, winter means cold, nose nipping weather. The earth tilts as it moves around the sun. When the northern part of the earth tilts away from the sun, the north gets less heat and light than the southern part. Long ago, people didn't understand how the earth tilts and moves around the sun. They didn't understand why each day had less sunshine than the day before. Some believed that evil spirits made the sun go away. People feared that the sun wouldn't shine on them anymore, making their world cold and dreary dark. They needed the sun's warmth and light. So did their plants, which they needed for food. They held ceremonies that lasted for weeks to persuade their gods to bring the sun back. Over the years, people noticed that after short days, the days got gradually longer. Joyous people bathed in the sun's warmth and light. They celebrated their harvests. About 5,000 years ago, people who studied the sky noticed that day after day, the sun set in different places on the western horizon. They discovered that when the sun set farthest south, that was the shortest day. These early astronomers planned to mark the shortest day. Then each year, people would know when the days would start getting longer again. On the day when the sun reached its southernmost point on the horizon, the astronomers carried out their plan. Workers stacked stones to frame the setting sun. They made a special opening, like a keyhole or the eye of a needle. When the setting sun's rays beamed through that opening, people knew the shortest day was over. Days gradually got longer for the next 6 months. When the sun appeared farthest to the north, its rays shone through another keyhole. People knew it was the longest day of the year, the first day of summer. In China, over 3,000 years ago, astronomers measured shadows to determine the shortest day. The longest shadows appeared on the shortest day because the sun was at its lowest point in the sky. They knew that as the sun appeared higher in the sky, the shadows would get shorter and the days would get longer. Over 2,000 years ago, Romans celebrated the shortest day with festivals and merrymaking. They gave evergreen branches to friends as a sign of good luck. Evergreen wreaths decorated their doors. Since these plants stayed green when others turned brown, they reminded the Romans of the coming spring. Mistletoe and holly hung in their homes because plants that survived the harsh winter were symbols of life. Many people believed these plants would bring strength to their families. About 1,000 years ago, Europeans celebrated the winter solstice. Druid priests of England and Ireland decorated oak trees with golden apples and candles to represent the harvest and light. In Sweden, a festival of light celebrated the return of longer days. On St. Lucia's Day, girls wore crowns of evergreens and candles to rekindle the sun's fire as they delivered warm buns to family and friends. Boys went from door to door singing to the neighbors for a few coins. Around the same time in history, the Incas of Peru marked the shortest day with a festival in honor of the sun. At dawn, when the sun first appeared, shouts of happiness rang out. Then the Incas used a shiny surface to reflect the sun's rays onto fluffy, dry cotton. The sun heated the cotton and made it burst into flame. They carried the fire to their temples and kept it burning on the altars all year because it came from one of their gods, the sun. Today, people still celebrate at the beginning of winter by decorating their houses, lighting the darkness, gathering together, and exchanging gifts. They no longer worry that the sun will disappear forever. People know that days get colder when their part of the earth tilts away from the sun. They know that days get shorter when the sun appears lower in the sky. People celebrate the shortest day because longer days follow. Flocks of birds will return, seedling oak trees will sprout, and children can play outside after dinner. For more than 5,000 years, people have welcomed the winter solstice because it's a new beginning. The end. So here's some solstice facts. The earth is always spinning, like a top. It takes 24 hours for the earth to turn one time. When the earth turns toward the sun, it's day. When it turns away from the sun, it's night. It takes 12 months for the earth to go around the sun. The tilt of the earth on its axis as it rotates determines how the sun's rays hit the earth and what season it is. Over 750 years ago, the word solstice was first used for the time when the sun seemed to stop moving. Solstice comes from Latin, the language of the ancient Romans. In Latin, sol means sun, and sistere means to stop. In the northern part of the world, the winter solstice usually occurs on December 21st. This year it does. But the earth doesn't move at a steady speed around the sun, so sometimes the winter solstice occurs on December 20th, 22nd, or 23rd. Equinox comes from two Latin words. Equi means equal, and nox means night. On the spring equinox and autumn equinox, days and night have equal hours. And you can see here, this is included on the Padlet, how the sun hits. So how these hit for the seasons, what that looks like. And then on your Padlet are different options, kind of activities. You can make a winter sunrise, sunset chart, has instructions on how to do that. Don't worry if you can't print this out. You can like always copy this on a separate sheet. And you just write the date and write what time and record the sunrise and record the sunset time. That's it. Another fun activity is you can measure your shadows with someone on the shortest day. So on December 21st, you can measure your shadow. Maybe you want to measure your shadow and make sure it's the same time, because that makes a difference. So at noon, so noon, find a sunny spot, measure your shadow. And maybe you want to do that like for a few days leading up to the solstice and then a few days after to do some comparing and contrasting. This is an activity to find the sun's northernmost and southernmost points. You'll need a paper pencil and a compass, and there's instructions here on how to do that. We've seen this before. This is showing the tilt of the earth, how that makes the seasons with the sun shining on it. So there's instructions here. There's also a video on the Padlet. Have a winter solstice party. Like, we're in a pandemic, so party might not be a good idea, but you could have a party with your family and make some cupcakes. There's a song wishing you a happy solstice. You can make bird feeders for birds. Winter's a harder time for animals to find food, so you can help the birds by making a bird feeder. So those are some things. There's more on the Padlet. I hope you enjoyed that read aloud and learned some interesting facts about the winter solstice. We'll see you next time.